Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We're going to be talking about something quite interesting in relation to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, some would say obsession, but priority to bring in a striker even this summer. Quite an interesting, well, not a statement from Ole, but what we've been told is that if Solskjaer could get a striker, he'd pick it over a centre-back or a midfielder. That's how much of a priority it is for Ole. We'll be talking about that. Also, Romano's been talking about midfielder. He's also been talking about the centre-back situation and mentioned a couple of names. Roy Keane's been talking about Pogba and his disappointment around him. Harry Maguire's back in. Obviously, Jadon Sancho latest. There's a lot to talk about Sancho, but I don't want it to be right at the start of the show. We'll be talking about Mourinho's comments as well. He's a little bit bitter, isn't he? But I just want to start off with something. We will be getting into the news, but I mentioned yesterday morning, and I need to sort of take a deep breath on this because I really, really want to get through it. I mentioned something yesterday morning about a lad on Twitter, Alex Kipster United, and I said that, you know, he's going through difficult times. He's been in hospital. He's got a serious heart condition, and it's up and down. And you know, he's please do send him a message, and you know, I know he watches the show and everything. Many of you will know that we woke up this morning to the sad news that Alex passed away, which is devastating. It's absolutely devastating, and it's really difficult because I think that, you know, people all around the world, there'll be a lot of people watching this channel living with illnesses and serious illness and terminal illness, but I think in the case of Alex, what I would say is that in life, you know, in a few moments in life, you really do. Somebody really does capture your heart, I suppose. And you know, I didn't know this was going to go this way. I knew it was a very serious condition, and I didn't know this. And I didn't expect it this morning. I really didn't. And I think that what I would say about Alex is that, and I thought this anyway, and I'd said it anyway, and a lot of people had said this anyway. For somebody to have so much going on and to be going through a lot of pain, to attack it like he did in a brave way. There's, you know, people think they're real. There's a lot of people out there, they think they're real. They're not real. Most people aren't real. You know, most of us have our weaknesses, and I think that is a strength to say that you have your weaknesses. But I think that the way Alex approached that, and to also, you know, social media to him was obviously important. His friends on social media were really important. And, you know, he kept everybody updated, and I think everybody was like interested in his life and what he was doing, and you know wanted him to, you know, get through it. But I think at the end it's just, you know, it was a very, very serious condition, and through his updates I think we all knew that. And I'm just, you know, Jay, who's on the channel, messaged Alex a lot as well, and you know, I just think back to a few days ago where he was doing a pack opening, which, as I said, he actually started doing YouTube videos, and I'm so pleased that he wanted to get to 10,000 subscribers, and he did it this morning. You know, we tweeted something out, and it went from 8.6 to 12,000, and I think he knows. I think, you know, I don't know about what happens next, but I think he knows about that. But the thing that will stick with me is that I was just on my phone the other day, and he was doing some pack openings in the hospital, and lots of people were watching, and I tuned in, and I just dropped a comment in, and he noticed my comment straight away. And, you know, he wanted to get a Bruno sticker, and we were all having a good bit of banter, and I think he called me bro or something like that, and then he went, "No, you can't be my bro, you're too old. I think you're like my granddad or my dad." And everyone was laughing about it. But I would say, I didn't want to... I really didn't want to do that. Well, I wish I know what I wish I was as strong as he was. What I really wanted to say is that I would be proud if he was my son. And I think it's really hard. It's his. It's hard, and I think it's great the way people have reacted to it. And we won't forget him. And I'm grateful for what he did, and I'm grateful. And I think everybody is as well. So I'm going to leave it there, because I thought that's something I could. But life is cruel, Life is cruel, and I think that you've just got to grab every opportunity that you can in life, and be good to people. I think yet again, you see what happens when somebody really has an impact and everybody's good together. And it's sad. It's sad. It's really sad. It's really sad. And my thoughts are with his family and friends. And rest in peace. And yeah. There's not a lot more I can say about that. And I'm sorry. I'm not as strong as he was, because I don't think he ever did that. And it just shows what a strong young man he was. And we're going to miss him. Anyway, the show must go on. And I know he was a big fan of the show, and the show must go on. That must happen. So let's talk about Jadon Sancho, because that'll bring me back down to earth a little bit, I suppose. Yeah, the show must go on. I've got to compose myself here, but I think a lot of people who were following that story are devastated this morning, and I'm really, really cut up about it, and I know a lot of people are as well. But the show must go on. So let's talk about Jadon Sancho and try and focus on something here. So, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. I feel very sad. Didn't know him personally, but the way he fought through was truly inspirational. Rest easy, Alex, says Wapapo. And I feel... Mark, just forget about the show today. Make it a show just about him. He will love that, says Nick Lewis. And fair play... Thanks, Bradley. No, the show will go on, because it is... I didn't want to do that. And the show will go on, because... that's what the United stand is. It's a community. It means a lot to everybody. And there is United news, and I know Alex used to watch the show a lot, and I think that we've said what had to be said, and I wish I could have said it better than that. But we will do the show, because I think that that's the right thing to do. So yeah, let's talk about Manchester United transfer news. I mean, yeah, it doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter? No, but then football, I think, does matter. I think football gives us all an escapism, and this is why Manchester United does matter, because I think to so many of us, Manchester United is part of our life, isn't it? And it provides us with a focus in the good and the bad times. And this is why, for me, people like the Glazers and that really don't get what this club's all about, or what football's about, because we're all passionate about Manchester United. We all love Manchester United, and we all want Manchester United to get back where it needs to be. So let's talk about Manchester United and the transfer news. So let's start. I want to start off with actually Solskjaer wants KANE, Sancho latest, of course. Now, I was speaking to somebody last night, and we were talking about Jadon Sancho, and there's a bit of a theory floating around about Sancho, which I'll talk about in a moment. But what I want to talk about is that there's some stories this morning about Harry Kane and Manchester United, and we've heard about Cristiano Ronaldo, and we know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a fan of Erling Haaland. And I was talking to somebody last night, and what they basically said to me is that if Solskjaer could get a striker, he would get a striker. That is his priority. Whether you agree with it or not, he would love to get Erling Haaland. He would love to get or a Harry Kane. And I think he would take Cristiano Ronaldo. He wants a striker. He is the manager of Manchester United. It's up to him what he does, and he would love to bring a striker into Manchester United. Fans can talk about CDMs. Fans can talk about centre-backs. If you gave Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the option of Jadon Sancho and Harry Kane, or Jadon Sancho, Varane and a CDM, he would take Jadon Sancho and Harry Kane. It is really important to him. I was told I don't know whether he'll get one this summer, but rest assured, the reason everyone was talking about Haaland in March and Kane and everything like that is because Solskjaer is quite open to the fact behind closed doors that he would love to bring a top-class striker in. Now, what that means to you as a United fan is up to you. Solskjaer obviously feels that top-class number 9 is going to make a massive difference. And people will say, well, what about Cavani? But is Cavani capable of playing 40, 50 games like Erling Haaland would, like a Harry Kane would? And that's probably a no. So, and maybe he's looking long term that Cavani, maybe won't play as many games next season, but certainly will be gone in a year. So I think that you've got to look at that and think, well, Ollie's vision is different to maybe what your vision is, but that's what any manager's going to be a lot like, isn't it? So I don't think it means United are going to go out there and buy Harry Kane this summer. I think it's very difficult for Manchester United to get this Jadon Sancho deal done and then go and buy a striker. But I think it's worth bearing in mind that Solskjaer certainly does want to bring a striker in, and he's certainly aware that in a year's time Cavani's going to go. Whether in a year's time, ESPN I think were reporting that Dortmund are confident that Haaland will stay for another year, which means that Man United next year will be looking for a striker at the perfect time that Haaland's available. And there is a feeling that Solskjaer's relationship with Haaland and the fact that we're dealing with Dortmund quite in a good way at the moment could help us next year. But you've still got to deal with Mino Raiola. For me, United need to bring in a midfielder. I think I've said that many times. Come on England, says Sammy Hill, and end of Martial then, says Robin. Well, look, I think Martial will go if we bring in another striker. It just depends whether that's going to happen. Martial is almost the forgotten man in a way, isn't he? But I'll talk about the midfielder in a minute. A lot of people are asking about Sancho. I mean, you know what I feel about Sancho. I don't think this deal is going to happen before the Euros, but it's a big deal. It's obviously a big deal, and I think that with regards to Sancho, the latest with Sancho is that, again, there's a lot of people coming out saying this deal is almost so close you can touch it and this, that and the other. There's a song about this, isn't it? So close. Yeah, I've tried to sing that before. But I've heard things like it's done but not done. It will be done in installments and bonuses, but there are concerns about how long it could go on. 100 million euros is what Dortmund want. Manchester United are about 20 million pounds apart. It can happen. Cautious after what happened last year, says Fabrizio Romano, who we've got a couple of Romano updates as well. I still believe in the 90% club. I still think that it will happen. I still think that caution is a good idea, and the whole point about 90% club is that there's a 10% chance that it can't happen, but it is close. I think that in the case of this, that there is a theory that I do quite like, and I was speaking to somebody about this last night as well, where they were saying that basically what they expect to happen with this deal is that it will get announced by United. It will get done, but it won't get announced officially until after the Euros. And I was saying, well, don't you think that will leak out? And they were like, well, I don't think the intention will be that it does leak out from either side, because I think there will be an agreement between Dortmund and United, which then gives Dortmund time to spend some of the money on players, because Dortmund like to buy cheap. Imagine if United seal a deal for Sancho today for £80 million, and then Dortmund try and buy his replacement. They're going to get this has always happened, to be honest, hasn't it? You sell Ronaldo for 80 million. Everyone knows you got 80 million, so they're knocking 10 million on top of every player you go and knock on the door about. So Dortmund are very good in transfers. So maybe there is some sort of thing there where this deal gets announced after the Euros, but really it's done. And maybe United and Dortmund know it's done, but they just stay quiet. And yeah, you'll get people leaking that out, but if neither club confirms it and the player doesn't confirm it, it's never official, is it? That was the feeling with the Paul Pogba signing, that was done for a long time. It was just kept back on purpose for marketing reasons. Pogba was on holiday, etc., like that. So we could get a situation like that. I would much prefer an announcement, and I don't think we're going to get this now. I would much prefer, if we're going to get the deal done but we're going to keep it quiet, I would rather we got the deal done and said, look, it's pending a medical, which we've done before in the past. But it does, it's a theory that not many people have spoken about, that maybe this deal gets done privately. It doesn't get announced until July, but it's done. And then Dortmund go off and start buying some players before it's officially done. So we don't even get a done pending the medical. We just never get told it's done until July, and it just carries on. But that would leak out through the media. No way, you're joking, right? Everyone can see midfield and defence are the issue. Ollie really has no clue if striker is the priority, says Plop. Keep your chin up, Mark. I can understand he wants a striker if this world-class players are possible up for sale. He will need to replace Cavani soon, says Chris Morton. Well, you know, who's to say that if Solskjaer got Sancho and Kane, we don't go and win the league? I don't know how you do that with our midfield and defence, but look, if Ollie believes that and it happens, you know, it would sit a lot of people down if it happened. I personally just don't want, you know, I was looking last night on some social media stuff and the bullshit that's out there, but realistically, the stuff that, you know, the United stand is pro-Ollie. I mean, like, the United stand is live. There's 8,000 people watching. I bet 4,000 want Ollie out. So how can it be an Ollie in channel? It's just not. The fact is that I just think Ollie will be in the job next year, and that's a big year for him. And do I think he'll win as a title? At this moment in time, I don't. But I think he will be in charge next year, and I'm not going to be bitching all summer about Ollie when actually I think the most important focus is on the Glazers and on transfers. That to me is the most important thing. Solskjaer is sort of in a cupboard now on holiday. I'm not putting him in a cupboard. He's on holiday. We're not playing any games. I know what Solskjaer's weaknesses are. Let's see if he improves next year. Now it's about the transfer market. That's what it's all about for me. And I do think we'll get Sancho done. I just feel sorry for those people who thought it was going to get announced today or yesterday or before the Euros. I woke up this morning and before I picked up my phone and before I saw the horrible news, I was thinking about the Euros, and I actually, you know, it's so sad. I mean, I'm not going to go like that again. I think that, but we know what the sad news is today. And when I did pick up my phone, I was just going to tweet, yeah, it's the Euros. That tweet never happened for reasons people know. But before I did that, I was thinking, well, it's the Euros. And then I was thinking, Sancho, is that going to get announced today? And I thought, if you're Gareth Southgate, you don't want this. You don't want this announced today, 2 days out from the start of the, you know, for your first game in the Euros. Now, Sancho won't even start for England, but you don't want that hype. You don't want the press because they're doing they're doing meetings. Sancho himself did an interview yesterday. They won't want that. They won't want that. So I don't think it gets announced now. I really don't think it will get announced. I think it will be, you know, it could still be through the Euros, but I think it'll be after the Euros. And I think it will happen. But I suppose Romano's right in a way that you've got to be a little bit cautious that what's going on with the fee. Is it true that Dortmund want 100 million euros? Because that's not 90 million euros. That's getting on for 85 million instead of 80 million. That should be 80 million. I said it yesterday. It should be 80 million. L. James says, head up, pal. I lost my dad 5 years ago this week and it still hurts. Nobody should suffer alone. We're all here. Thank you, pal. Thanks very much. And obviously, I'll support whoever comes in. But looking at our current squad, I don't want Kane or Sancho. I want to fix McFred more than anything, says Zio. Thanks for the super chats there. And look, you know, I try to speak for the community when I speak about things I was speaking about before. So it's not about me. I think it's about the community. And I'm sure everybody is sending their thoughts and prayers to Alex and his family and friends because, you know, I think we've seen again today the power of people when they actually come together for good and appreciate things. And, you know, I think that's the message, isn't it? Talking of which, actually, something I was meant to do today, but I'll just wait. I'll probably do it on the show this evening. So I'm going to be live on That's Football tonight for the first Italian game. I've sort of let it slip who I'll be supporting tonight. But Italy-Turkey tonight at 8 o'clock. There'll be a watch-along on That's Football. We've got loads of watch-alongs coming up on That's Football, actually. Jay and Kev are going to do Belgium tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We've got Craig from Anfield Agenda. We've got Joe, Jordan, Beth's going to do some stuff. I'm going to do some stuff. We've got some special guests coming on from other channels as well, which is going to be good fun. So loads of Euros watch-alongs on That's Football, which means the United stand will probably, over the Euros, be moved a little bit. You know, the 8 o'clock show is not going to be at 8 o'clock a lot. It's probably going to be sort of 7 o'clock in between the 5 and the 8 o'clock just to get a show in at a time where there's no matches, because I know people are going to be into the Euros. I'm going to be into the Euros, so that's what's going to happen with that. But also tonight, when I do the show at 6:30, we will be making an announcement about things around that you can get involved in, which is quite exciting. So if you fancy yourself to be involved with the United stand in front of the camera or whatever like that, maybe you want to tune in at 6:30 tonight. We'll be giving you the details for that, because that's the way it is. You evolve and you move. So let's talk about a couple of other things. We'll go to Fabrizio Romano here. He's been speaking about the centre-back situation again. I mean, to be fair, what I'm about to say here has been said by Romano before, and people will start saying, "Oh, Romano said that before," but is that not a good thing? Do you not, if Romano said one thing about Sancho last week, something this week, something last month, he is being quite consistent about the midfield and the centre-back situation now, and it fits in with a lot of what we've discussed on the centre-back situation. I've said, and I've been told by a few people now, that United will sign a centre-back, but nobody knows who it is, because United don't know who it is yet, because they've got priorities and they're waiting on them. Well, Romano has come out and said that Manchester United have a centre-back list of 3 or 4 players at the moment, and Jules Koundé is on there. Well, Varane's on there. If Koundé's on there, Varane is on there. I believe Torres is on there, and I would probably say the 4th option could be one of 4 players. It could be Botman, it could be Koulibaly, it could be Ben White, and then there's probably a wild card in there that's somebody that we don't even know about. It could be that Romero from Italy. It could be Tapsoba. It could be Tyrone Mings. Who knows? But I think that Varane is definitely the priority, although it's a hard deal to do. And then you're talking like Torres, Koundé. So the centre-back situation is good. I mean, Cloud says it'll be Ben White. But to be honest with you, in relation to Ben White, I don't think that Ben White... I don't think that Ben White will happen, because I think he'll be quite expensive for the risk he is. So, yeah, I think that will be quite interesting, what happens there. But, yeah, it's interesting that Jules Koundé is back in the equation anyway, isn't it? I think that will be... But the thing is... here's a question for you then. I presume Botman is in the Euros. So if Botman's in the Euros because he's Dutch, that's Botman, Koundé, Varane, Torres, Ben White, all playing at the Euros. So you can see the problem that United have got with the centre-back situation. It's like, well, 1, they don't know who it is, but 2, they're all playing in the bloody Euros. I mean, look, the exciting thing about the Euros is that most games, we know United are going to be active in the transfer window, and in a lot of games we're going to get to see what's happening in that. Apparently Botman's not in the Euros. He's in the under-21s, which is surprising because he's had such a good season for Lille. I thought he would have been in there. So that's a bit of a shame. So we won't get to watch him. Goldie, this transfer window feels eerily similar to last year. Personal terms for Sancho, only for United to underbid and still out of Sancho. My mate Doug is a prat, says Mike John. Thanks for putting a smile on my face. The simple things. Well done, Marks, Jonathan Phantom. Thank you very much. And I really think Sven Botman would be good, says Ehab. But the problem, Maguire can play left centre-back. So a left-footed centre-back ain't a problem for me. Just sign Varane or Koundé. Well, I think you're right there. It'd be very interesting with Harry Maguire. If we did buy a left-sided centre-back, then moving Harry Maguire to right side, I don't think that's going to happen. I remember a year ago we were talking about a left-sided centre-back, and I sort of got quite obsessed by it. But it is ideal to have a left-sided centre-back because it opens the pitch up more. Harry Maguire's very right-footed. But Harry Maguire does work well with Luke Shaw, so I don't know whether he would move that. But then again, Harry Maguire might benefit Wan-Bissaka. I think on the left side, you've got leadership, Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire. On the right-hand side, we've got Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof. And Lindelof's a bit of a weak link. And therefore, would Wan-Bissaka be a better centre-back, a better right-back if he had Maguire on that side? So it is interesting how that would work. But we'll have to see. So, yeah, 4 centre-backs, we don't know who. The most interesting thing I think Romano said, which feeds back into what I was saying about the striker plan. So if you've joined in a little bit late, the story is that Solskjaer absolutely wants a striker. I don't think we're going to get one, but he absolutely wants a striker. And if he had £200 million to spend, he'd spend it on Sancho and a striker. He wants a striker over anything else. He does. And maybe he's looking a year ahead with Cavani. Maybe he's looking next season and thinking Cavani won't be able to play every game. But he wants a striker, and he would love to get Harry Kane. He would love to get Erling Haaland. And in fairness to Solskjaer, people can say we need a CDM, and I will say we need a CDM. But there's not many clubs in the world that wouldn't take Harry Kane or Erling Haaland, and they might sacrifice getting what they really want to get somebody who's world class. So you can sort of see that. I just think we're so in desperate need of a midfielder. So Romano is talking about the midfield as well, and he said what he said on this channel a few weeks ago. He's reiterated that Manchester United's midfield purchase will depend on what happens with Pogba and Van der Beek. Now, I don't understand this. I really don't understand how Pogba and Van der Beek impact on us getting a midfield. And my simple answer to that, is Pogba a holding midfielder? No. Is Donny Van der Beek a holding midfielder? No. Has Ollie even tried them as a holding midfielder? No. Do I think they're both better than McTominay or Fred as holding midfielders? Yes, because they're better footballers and they're more intelligent. But Ollie doesn't use them there. So why are Van der Beek and Pogba dependent on us buying a CDM? That's what I don't understand. I'm not saying Romano's wrong, but why does Pogba and Van der Beek's future depend on us buying a centre defensive midfielder? For example, if it's Rice, why does Rice depend on Pogba or Van der Beek? And the only reason I can think is money. If one of those go, it frees up money to buy a midfielder, which is really sad because Pogba and Van der Beek are not holding midfielders and that's what we need. So why do Pogba and Van der Beek depend on us buying a centre defensive midfielder? And it can only be freeing up a space in the midfield, even though neither of those are holding midfielders. So, I mean, look, in a way that's quite infuriating because it's a small club mentality again, isn't it? We're not doing what a Chelsea or a Liverpool or a Man City do, where they see an issue and they go and fill the issue. United are saying, well, that is an issue, but unless you sell somebody, you're not filling the issue, which is what a club that's all about money does, because it's all about the bank balance. So it's a disappointment, that. Siggy says, I watched Botman in the under-21s. He's tall and slow. A Dutch Maguire-like player would suffer in a high line, says Siggy. I don't think we'll go for Botman, by the way, Ziggy. And he certainly wouldn't be my choice. My choices are Varane is my first choice. Koundé is my second choice. And then third choice, you're going to get into a big debate with me because, yeah, Torres, but I would still think Koulibaly. I saw something about Koulibaly the other day that they expect his price to come down a lot. I mean, Napoli always wanted 80 million for him. This year they're willing to take 50. They reckon it could come down as low as 35 million. I'm sorry, at 30 years of age, Koulibaly for 35 million is a steal. It's only a year ago people were talking about what a world-class centre-back he is. He'd be brilliant. Be brilliant at United. Experienced as well. I'd pay 35 million. I'd pay 40 million for Koulibaly. So I don't know why we're not looking at that, because Kalidou Koulibaly, I'd love Kalidou Koulibaly at United. I think he's a fantastic player and exactly the sort of player that we should be looking to bring into the club. But yeah, so for me, it's Varane, it's Koundé, and then let's debate about whether we want Torres or Koulibaly. But not, I certainly don't want to go British on it. But yeah, I mean, look, G-Man says 35 million, sign him now. That's the latest coming out of Italy. The Italian reports are that Napoli are open to selling him. They still want good money, and Napoli are a hard club to buy from. But there is a feeling that 50 million, they're not getting any interest, so they're going to have to bring it down again. Well, you know, that could come down to 40 million, which would be great. Victor says we need more creative midfielder. I think Grealish is the option for United for breaking defences. I mean, the thing is, Victor, we are Manchester United. We're a very big club, of course, but we're not a very big club in relation to just going out there and getting transfer business done, like a Chelsea or someone like that. And I would love Jack Grealish at United. I think Jack Grealish would fit Manchester United like a comfy pair of slippers, and I think he'd adapt straight away. I mean, I said it about Bruno, and I'd watched Bruno a lot, basically because it took us so long to do the deal. But I remember Gary Neville saying, with Bruno coming in January, you've got to be patient. And I remember saying on a show around that time, I think Gary's wrong. I think if you actually look at Bruno Fernandes and his career, he isn't a player that takes long. It doesn't mean he's going to play well, but he will get goals and assists. And, lo and behold, Bruno came in and hit the ground running straight away. I think Grealish would hit the ground running straight away. I think with Sancho, he might not hit the ground running. I think Sancho's going to have a lot of pressure on him. He's not played in the Premier League. I've seen him play for England. He can be quite quiet. And with Sancho, the expectation, he might take some time. God forbid he might flop, but I don't think he'll flop, but he might take some time. He might hit the ground running. But I think with Grealish, he's the sort of player that would hit the ground running straight away. But I don't think United will go for him. It's going to be the same old song every summer with regards to transfers and the small club mentality until we get the Glazers out, says Sam. And head up, hi pal, I've no regrets about what's happened with the United stand, and I feel you have the right people around you now, says Leaf. Oh, cheers, pal. And the Hopper says, I would drop the Sancho deal right now and go for a CDM. I mean, just to offer the other side to this story, I saw something today from, I can't remember where it was coming out of. I don't think it was Romano, but they were talking about Kingsley Coman. And there was a story coming out yesterday that he wants to leave Bayern. Obviously, they've got a new manager in Nagelsmann who wants to keep him. But there's talk that he wants to go. And then there was talk that United would be interested in Kingsley Coman. And we have scouted him. I remember Andy Mitten, maybe last summer, was talking about Kingsley Coman. And I really threw my toys out of the pram. No, we don't want Kingsley Coman. We want Sancho. And we did want Sancho. But we have scouted Kingsley Coman. So he is a player that United have looked at. But I'd put him in the same category, and he's not. I'm surprised he's not been mentioned this summer because he hasn't signed a new contract yet. Remember, United really, it is a name from the past. United really did go hard to get Ousmane Dembele on loan at the end of the transfer window when they couldn't get Sancho. He's only got a year left on his contract. I think he's part of the French squad, isn't he? I don't know whether he's signing a new contract at Barcelona, and surely he will move. It's very quiet about Dembele at the moment. But United haven't gone back there. So it just shows you how... Yeah, look, Kingsley Coman is an option for United if the Sancho deal falls through. But Ousmane Dembele would be as well. And there's no talk about Ousmane Dembele, which is another thing if you're really confident about the Sancho deal. It's another reason to be confident about the Sancho deal because Kingsley Coman is available, £50 million, wants to leave Bayern. United could do that deal. But there's nothing happening with that deal. There's absolutely nothing happening with Ousmane Dembele. I'm telling you, this Sancho deal will get done. It will get done because nothing else is happening around it. I'd always keep that 10% back that it could fall apart because, nothing is certain. But 90%, yeah, United are just on this at the moment and that's all they're on about. Because there are other options there. Kingsley Coman is another option. I haven't really watched Bundesliga much. I haven't watched it at all this year. I don't know how Kingsley Coman would impact in the Prem. I think he's a good player. On his day, he's a very good player. But consistency, again, it's the same old winger issue, isn't it? Getting a really consistent winger is a problem. I really wish we'd got Perisic. What was it, 4 years ago? The summer after we got Pogba. I really wish we'd got Perisic. If we get Grealish, Rashford will get serious competition. He can't afford to be a passenger for most games like he was last season. So safe word is pineapple. Maguire is back in training. I've got two things to talk about here. Two really good things, actually. I thought I was running out of something. So, two really good things. One from Roy Keane and one from Mourinho. Harry Maguire's back in training, if you're interested in that. Harry Maguire is back in training. And there's talk of him being back for the Czech Republic game, which could be England's last game. It's a week and a half away. So, Harry Maguire has basically gone to the England camp to potentially play one game. I think England will get out of the group, but the first two games, which are massive, Scotland and Croatia, he won't even be fit for. And if England do well, I always think, well, why does a player just walk straight back into the team? But Maguire being back is a good thing from a Manchester United point of view, and the fact that he's got a couple of games to play would be good as well. But back in training yesterday. Coman is better than Sancho, says Parham. But two things I wanted to talk about. First of all, we were talking about Mourinho the other night and how he'd said that United are basically celebrating second, but when he came second, it was a bad thing. And I think Mourinho was right there. But I did say at the time, and Jordan was on the show as well, and I think he said it. I said Mourinho is right, but he's wrong. He said something that will resonate with United fans because we are regressing a little bit by celebrating second place. But he was only doing that for his own purpose because Mourinho's all about himself. And he was basically saying, I was treated badly and look at Ollie, he's not done anything. Well, he's proven what Mourinho's all about this morning because he's been on TalkSport and he's basically said that Chilwell should be the first choice left back, hands down, for England. And that, Luke Shaw has improved because he's shown professionalism and improvement. Mourinho destroyed Luke Shaw. He destroyed Martial, and he was doing a pretty good job of destroying Rashford as well. Luke Shaw is the best left back in the Premier League this season. Luke Shaw last season was a very good left back as well. I think he won Player of the Year or won loads of Player of the Months the year before that. This nonsense that Luke Shaw has suddenly become a good player. There's no doubt he's hitting his prime. He's in his mid-20s and that's what happens. But to say that Luke Shaw went from being absolutely shit to this season being world-class is ridiculous. If you've not followed the journey of Luke Shaw, something that we've been fortunate enough to do on this channel, and I know a lot of people didn't agree with me, but I always said Luke Shaw's a really good left-back. And what he's done is he's actually fulfilled that potential. But Mourinho won't have it. And this is Mourinho to a T. I think he's a box office manager. I just don't want him anywhere near my club ever again. But God is either, if he's got a fan club, he's the founding member. Chilwell is a good left back, but Luke Shaw's the best left back in Europe, I think, at the moment. And it just shows you the bitterness of Mourinho, that he can't move past things where he was wrong. He can't just sit there and say, I was wrong. He's always got to find an excuse. And there's plenty of people in life who just can't accept they're wrong, especially in competitive sport. And he's wrong. Chilwell's a very good left back, but he's not clear of Luke Shaw in any way. And in fact, Luke Shaw's a better defensive left back than Chilwell. I worry about Chilwell defensively. I think Southgate might go with Chilwell, by the way. I think Southgate's got a tendency to make bad decisions, but there you go. Also, I heard Roy Keane talking about Paul Pogba, and he said that I really like Paul Pogba, and from what I've heard about him, he's a really top lad. But he said, he's not made United better, and he's not made players around him better. And I thought that was an interesting thing to bring in, because in no way I think thank you, KX. And in no way is Roy Keane slating Paul Pogba and saying he's a bad player. And he's certainly, not character assassinating him like some people. He's saying, from what I've heard, and Roy Keane will have heard, Pogba's a nice lad. But he is quite damning in saying that Pogba's not improved United and he's not improved players around him. And I thought, well, you know what? He's right and wrong again, isn't he? Because I don't know what Roy Keane's angle is there. Maybe he's just speaking honestly. I hope he is. But I don't think it's a Pogba hate thing that you might get from other pundits. I think what he's saying is probably quite an interesting thing. Do you think Pogba has improved United? And do you think Pogba has improved players around him? Because I think when you look at Bruno's come in, a bit like Cantona did, and the team around him went... I mean, look at Luke Shaw. Since Bruno's come in, he's gone up a level. And Bruno is one of those players that has lifted the team and improved the team. Has Pogba done that over the last 5 years? On occasions, yes, but not consistently. But you know what? I can name you 10, 20, 40, 60 top-class players who you drop them into a United team and they won't lift the team. Not every top-class player... It's called a leadership trait, basically. Not every top-class player goes into a... Look, if you drop Bruno Fernandes into a Stoke City side, I know it's always Stoke. I think that Stoke City side would go up a level. But if you drop... I really like this player, but if you drop Mason Mount into that same Stoke side, would he lift the team the way Bruno does? He might do, but he might not. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Mason Mount's still a really good player. And I'm not saying Mount's worse than Bruno or anything like that. Let's pretend they're both the same. But I think Bruno would raise that team more than Mount would, because I think Bruno has that intensity and drive and leadership that maybe a Mason Mount doesn't. So I think Roy's probably being a bit unfair, really, because I firmly believe that Paul Pogba is a leader. But I don't necessarily think Paul Pogba's style of play is that if you drop him into a team, he's going to make that team go up with him. And I don't think that's a failure by Pogba. And I don't think that means that Pogba's not world class. I just don't think everybody's different. And I don't think every world class player, you drop them into a team and the team lifts around them. Because different personalities, different world, different footballing types. Not every player will lift the team. I'm trying to think, you bring Van Dijk into that Stoke side, it'll probably go up. And in a team that's good, they're the best player. I've also played with players that in a team that's good are, okay, but then you drop them into a team that's not so good and they stand out. That's just the way it is. It's football personality. And it's not really even about leadership. It's about the style of footballer you are. You think about someone like, I don't know, I mean, you're too young, a lot of you, but you think about someone like a Michael Owen. You put Michael Owen up front, and he did play for Stoke, actually. He didn't score that many goals, did he? You put Michael Owen up front for Stoke, is he going to score as many goals as a Didier Drogba or a Harry Kane? I don't think he is, because Harry Kane's not just about hanging around in the box and running in behind. Harry Kane's going to drop short, create things. Michael Owen's not going to do that. Now, I'm not getting into the debate about who's the better player. I think Michael Owen won the Ballon d'Or, didn't he? But Michael Owen, Harry Kane's a different type of player. He might not be as good as Michael Owen was at his best, but he's a different type of player, and he's more of a team player. So yeah, I know sometimes you've got to think things through, haven't you? You have got to think things through. Apparently we've had a bit of lag. Sorry, I was too much chatting away that I hadn't realised that we'd had a bit of lag there. So sorry about that. Just looking at the chat there. Sorry about that. Bendia's gone to Villa, so I've got no interest in that. Dean Henderson to AC Milan. I doubt it. I did see that story this morning. I haven't even written it down to bring it into the show. And Gustav says, Roy Keane's quote is from a casual conversation with Mika talking about players he is eager to see in the Euros. He wasn't trying to slate him. And yeah, Gustav, I don't think he was, but I think it generates that interesting conversation that not every player... A player can be world class and not come into a team and raise a team. You know, players are different. Players are very different. Everybody's very different. They bought Manon. Yeah, I mean, Dean Henderson's not going to go to AC Milan, is he? I don't believe that story at all. I don't see that at all. Something's going to have to happen with the goalkeeping situation. I think it would be ridiculously weak of Solskjaer to allow the situation to just, you know, whatever you're doing in life, if you've got two things like that, Henderson and De Gea, the worst thing you can do is just, I'm not doing anything about it and leave it. It's a problem to be solved. You know, it's like letting your grass grow in the back garden. You can't just go, leave it. You know, there's a cow going to wander in and eat it. They're not. You know, get the lawnmower out and cut the grass. Stop watching it grow. And Ollie needs to deal with that Henderson and De Gea thing. You're not going to please everybody. You're clearly not. Some people want Henderson, some people want De Gea. But he can't leave it. He can't leave it because that problem will become more of a problem if you leave it. Welcome to the Members Club, Abhishek. Yeah, please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, you're welcome on the United Stand. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. I don't think we're going to trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Yes, Graham Farrell. We're not sponsored by Manscaped today, but yeah, that would have been a really good lead-in. My mind's all over the place today. Make a decision and pick one, says Advath. And yeah, but look, on Sancho, it's not going to happen today, is it? It's not going to happen today, and if it's not going to happen today, which it's not going to happen today by the looks of it, it makes no sense for it to happen now. Why? Who does it benefit for it to happen? The Euros are about to start, which are going to be massive. You sign Sancho, you want the whole world to go, wow. I'm sorry, but people are going to be going, it's Italy against Turkey tonight. It's England on Sunday. It's Wales tomorrow. You know, it's France on Tuesday. People aren't going to go, wow, about a Jadon Sancho deal now. So... I think you're going to have to wait on that one. I think it will happen. When it's going to happen, who knows? I'd love to be doing a video at lunchtime to saying it's done, but I'm not so sure. Look, I want to just say thank you to everybody. A lot of nice messages last night and a lot of lovely messages in the chat today in relation to Alex and at Kipster United on Twitter, who sadly passed away last night. And, you know, words don't come easy in these situations, but God, he was a light that shone bright, and he was an inspiration to us all, how in the face of adversity you can hit it head on, not moan, not let it get you down, and, you know, touch the hearts of loads. And the irony is that, you know, he had one of the biggest hearts I've ever seen, and ultimately that was the condition that caused him his issues. He will be missed. He won't be forgotten. And I think those who are just getting to know who he was will be touched by it. And those of us who knew who he was are just devastated by it. And I just want to say that, you know, what can you say? What a guy. And it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. Rest in peace, mate. Thanks everyone for watching. And we'll speak to you on the next one.